Greetings, everyone. Welcome to another spiritual awakening with Oladele and Kehinde Dosunmu. Greetings,
Greetings.
greetings, everybody. Okay, just to recap on our last episode, we talked about the benefits and struggles of being spiritually awakened and how that can work for you or work against you. Because obviously, once you're consciously spiritually awakened, you cannot ignore certain things. Some people find it easy to ignore. Or if you're spiritually there and you see evil, you can never ignore it. And that's basically what we talked about last time. So if you want to see more on that podcast, just go to our channel. It's called the Spiritual Awakening with Kehinde, Oladele and Kehinde Dosunmu. We have a YouTube channel where we talk about the spiritual awakening. Okay, thanks, guys. Please subscribe to our channels and grow it. Let's help us grow our channel. Okay, for today's topic, we want to talk about the gender roles, how the gender roles have been distorted, just to put it in perspective, the world we live in today is patriarchal. Patriarchy was never the way the world we live in was kind of built. It was built on the world we call the world ma'at, which is the balance equilibrium between the man and the woman. This is how nature was built. This is how our ancestors built the systems that we had historically. Even if you go through Kemetic history, the pyramids that you see today was built on a balance, on an equilibrium. That is basically linking the woman's spirituality, the woman's consciousness, and men's consciousness, basically linking whatever we our strengths together. To balance it, to bring it together, to make things happen. So it was not distorted in those days, basically. But today, the Abrahamic religions has made our world patriarchal. And since we became patriarchal, things have been distorted and things have never been the same again. Because basically, we've reduced the roles of a woman to a lesser being.
Yes.
And this is my thoughts before Kehinde comes in. This is my thoughts about this. How can a mother, a woman that gave birth to you, a woman that's your mother, who carried you for 9 months, be lesser than you? A woman gave birth to you. Without a woman, you as a man have no life.
Absolutely.
And I see so many people saying, and this is basically touched my nerve when men think they are above a woman. How can you be above your mother? Make it make sense. So, in a nutshell, your religion has distorted nature because you can never, ever be above your mother. There's a balance because women have their roles, men have their roles. And what we're meant to do is work together. This is basically, like I said, this is how all the things of the past, all the historical achievements of the past was done through a balance between man and woman, through an equilibrium, which was called ma'at. This is what we had before the Abrahamic religion distorted our spiritual ways. They bought their ways and they basically loaded the men over the women.
Yes.
And consequently, we are where we are today. Yeah. So I'm just going to let Kehinde go because basically, she's going to just speak to that and I'll chime in.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Yeah, as a spiritual awakening person, should I say as a spiritual being, what I notice is that the moment you have this awakening, you realize that there's so many things that is going on around you that you're not even agreeing with. Your spirit is not agreeing with it because, like we said, I think in our previous videos, that you question everything, and it's not as if you're questioning everything. It's just that you come to light. You come to this realization that what you were taught, what you were conditioned to believe, or what you were born into, was something that unfortunately it's not 100% right, because you come to realization that you've been something have been imposed on you, that either you like it or not, this is what you're going to believe in. This is how it's been done. So you are not allowed to question it. But when you come to this realization, like we said, you then start noticing things that, okay, when it comes to men and women role, That why are women being like a lesser being?
Yes, subjugated.
That we're just being given a role that, okay, this is men and this is women. So your role as a woman, this is what you're limited to be. That you can't go any further. It's as if you when a woman is trying to go higher, it's say, oh, you've been as a woman, you've been I don't know what word you've been you want to be better than your man, you want to be better than
basically they're trying to say that this is basically where this is your limit.
This is your limit,
so you can't go beyond that, because as a woman basically that's where you're meant to be.
That's where you want, even though as a woman, like we said, a man and a woman, we're created equally, even though we're different. Our what's it called, our role here is different, but we're still equal being. You have your role as a man, I have mine. Because a man can't give birth to a woman, can't carry a womb can't carry a baby for 9 months. That's impossible, because you were not created to carry a womb, but you're created to actually produce a seed. So we are the incubator, isn't it? You are the seed. It's like when we say women are the land, the ground, the soil.
Yeah, basically the soil, the fertile soil, and then the man has to put the seed in it.
Put the seed in. Of course, you have to put it in a good ground, in a fertile ground, for it to grow. So our roles are different. So for someone to then come in as another gender to say, okay, as a woman, you have, this is how far you can go. So when, as a spiritual awakening, you notice that this is not right. Because it's as if you degrade someone, another human being, to be who they truly are meant to be. Because as every living soul, you have the capability of becoming whatever you want to become. No other human being, the same as you were created equal, should then start dictating how far you can go. That is actually oppressed. That is actually wickedness. That is I even call it evil. Evil in the sense that what you then do, you make that person, another human being, to say, okay, that's it, I'm living for you. That, okay, women are meant to live for men. And I'm thinking that can't be right. And like you said, when you mentioned the Bible, the Abrahamic religion, that was what we were told, that women are created for men. I remember when I heard that, my spirit just said, God, please, that can't be right. Don't tell me the God that actually created human being equally would then say one is created for the other. That is just, then I said, what is my role then? So that means someone else have to dictate what I do, how I breathe, what I need to do, my clothes, my, everything. Isn't it? That's exactly what that is saying to me, that the other human, the other gender will tell me how to then live my life, which means that that's just pure wickedness. So, but as a spiritual awakening, like we said, these are the things that you start questioning. Because that there is the systemic, what is it? The systemic inequality. I believe there's systemic inequality anyway.
It's just distortion.
It's you have someone that's saying, okay, as a woman, your role is in the kitchen. You can't be a leader. You can't be in a leadership position. Your profession is limited then, because the society is telling you these are your profession. You can't do this. You can't do that, because you are a weaker, this colors is a women a weaker vessel.
Yeah, but Kehinde, this is basically what these religions have done, and this is basically why we have come away from that. Like Kehinde is saying, when you question everything and you question what they've put in place, that's a guide to how we live our lives. When you're spiritually awakened, once you start to question everything, it does not make no sense.
Yeah, it doesn't.
None of it makes sense, because don't forget, historically, women determined who becomes a king.
Yeah.
In those days,
isn't it? Yes.
Women determined.
Yeah, I think that we have the
women determined.
Intuition,
women have the intuition to make or break.
Yeah.
What a woman, how they think, and what they, because they've been the makeup and the fact that they're incubators.
Yes.
That bring us
more insight.
Because they bring life.
Yeah. Things.
The spiritual connection to nature is deeper on a different level than men.
I mean, they say
most men don't get the fact that you cannot mess up a woman, because a woman can make you or break you.
I mean,
but then for you to then think that you are above a woman.
Yeah.
Like I said initially, a woman that gave birth to you, who gave birth to a man. How can a man in the right mind and right brain think that they are above their mother?
Yeah, but that's what
make it make sense. And this is basically what the Abrahamic religion has made us believe. You know, the Bible will say that they took a rib from a man to form a woman. What a load of, don't let me swear on here. What a load of crap. A woman that gave birth to you. That's not how nature works. And they put all these things into a book to make it to dig it to buttress the patriarchal concepts of the fact that we are above women. I know, Kehinde, I had to just sorry.
Yeah, I know. What I was about to say is that it's like where you've been told a lie for too long, it becomes what?
It becomes real.
It becomes real because these lies have been told for so long that
and it's written in the book as well.
And it's written and because again it's documented.
Yeah,
that's the dangerous thing. They said, lack of knowledge, my people perish. But then I will always say that what type of knowledge? Because sometimes we always say lack of knowledge, people perish. But what type of knowledge are you having or information? Is it the right information or just the information someone else come with? And you then, because it's been there for so long, you believe this information is actually true, which is not. So all these things that we are saying, I understand in a man's perspective that because this is what we were told. We were told when we were young that men are actually above women, that men, run the show. Men rule the world. I mean, we were told men, and which is true. They still rule the world because majority of the what's it called, the what's that word I'm trying to use? Decision making comes from men. So it's like men trying to represent a woman doesn't make any sense because you don't even know a woman. And these are the roles. We don't have those. Most of the leaders of today, they're still men. And men was trying to tell how a woman should feel or what they should do, what is good for a woman. How would you know what is good for when you're not even a woman? So these are the things that I noticed that this is not equality. There's no equal say in this. There's no equal opportunity or equal treatment sometimes. So women then have we're the one that's fall short of so many things. And I noticed that these days, women then become you can see when they put them in power, they're trying to be more because they want to be I'm a man.
Yeah, because they're trying to prove
something. I could do it. Yeah, I could do it. I'm a man.
A woman should not have to prove anything. No, you don't. Just be a woman.
Be a woman that you are.
But unfortunately, the system does not allow women to be a woman because you men lord it over the woman, thinking the woman cannot do what a woman doesn't have to do what you're doing.
No,
a woman just to turn up to be themselves and be themselves. But the way the society has been built and the way the system and structure has been built, you've put a woman into a subjugated role. That makes it difficult for women to function the way they should be.
Yeah, they should be.
So now women are now behaving like men.
Oh, I want to be. I said, what do you mean? You're not a man.
Because we have not allowed the woman to be who they're meant to be, be the true selves. And then for them to function in this patriarchal society, they start to become men. They start to do things like men.
Yeah, men. I'm a man. I have to be. As you're not a man, and you can never be one because you're not created to be one. And again, like we said, unfortunately, even some men actually suffer this because you trying to make a man to be manly, they have to do this. So you're telling that a man that cannot that cannot actually have a role, maybe that they're not leadership in a way material. Should I say leadership material or should I say in a way that they're not fit into a particular role? Because you generally believe that a man should have this role. They should automatically fit into a role. But it's not all men can fit into that role. So the ones that cannot fit into that role, then they feel like, I'm not man enough.
Yeah.
And that's where depression, lately we've seen statistics of depression is actually getting higher because they believe I can't fit into this role that I was meant to fit in as a man. So both parties now are actually suffering because of the patriarchal, in terms of
what you're saying there, in terms of men. And what Kehinde also, and this is my view, men, obviously, we have the burden because society is patriarchal.
So much pressure.
So there's so much pressure on men.
Yeah.
And if you men don't provide as expected, then you feel down. Yeah. You feel like you're not a man. But the mistake we're making is we're putting too much pressure on men. We put too much pressure on women.
Yeah.
To fit into to fit in. what we should be doing is basically fit ourselves into the roles that we are expected to fit into, individual roles. And then what normally should happen is we complement each other.
Yeah, that's it.
So what a man's good at, what a woman's good at, when you bring it together, it works. But when you load in it and you say this is a particular way a man should fit in, and this is the way a woman should fit in, basically that's why there's so much mess up in the world today, because men who cannot, like Kehinde said, men who cannot match up to those kind of standards or the expectations feel like they're lesser man. Yeah, it puts more pressure, and that's why society, as we see today, is actually so perverted, because we're trying to we've created roles that are not natural.
It's natural. You put people in the box.
Yeah.
You forgot that the individual, even as a woman, I might be different from my fellow women. There's some things that she can do that I can't do. So, but when you say to a man, he has to be, man, you have to be the head of the house. You have to be in control. But if the man can't do that, that's where the issue. That's where the problem starts. So you're not treating that man as an individual anymore. Now you're putting that man in the box that man can fit into that box.
And the box that we're talking about is society, created by society.
This
box is nothing. Basically, the systems that follow it is nothing from nature.
No.
None of it's natural. No. It's basically society created by society.
Yes.
Okay, and they had to push the agenda through the religions, the Abrahamic religions, the Judaism, Islamic religions. Basically, they had to put the man at the head. Even though, like I said from in the beginning, it's meant to be an equilibrium between man and woman. Balance. And this is what we've lost.
Yeah. And like you said, but I haven't said that as well. But then you look at some cultures as well. Those culture or maybe tradition, they don't help either. So I'm thinking, did they take that Abrahamic religion? Did the culture then fit into that, or is it the other way around? Because some of the cultures as well we're talking about, you can see the women are being treated.
I can categorically tell you, and guys, if you watch this video, if you think I'm wrong, you can say otherwise. But the moment they introduced the Abrahamic religion into Africa, this is basically where, and I say this is where things start to go wrong. Because this is basically where the beginning of the mess up in Africa today, because we lost our identity, we lost ourselves.
We lost, like you said, maybe we lost our culture. Then.
Yeah, we lost ourselves. We lost our identity, who we are. What we did that made things equitable, that made things sustainable, that made things work. We lost that.
Yeah.
And I'm saying it categorically. Not everything we did was perfect.
No.
Not everything we did was perfect then. There's things that could
have been done better.
Come to better.
Of course,
but we had a system that actually works, that empowered the community, both man and woman.
Yeah.
In those days, like my sister Kehinde used to say, a woman decides what seeds to grow. They decide what seed. They basically in control of food. Women did, not men.
Yeah, because they know the right seed.
Women nurtured nature. They nurtured the seeds.
Into the ground,
they basically will go out there and actually do the agriculture. Then men will go out there and do the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
This is basically what we did in the past. This is why there was a balance. There was, things flowed. But the perversion and the distortion of history has got us to where we are today. That's why most of us are struggling.
Yeah.
There's no balance anymore.
There's no balance. And when there's no balance, unfortunately, there's going to be chaos.
Yeah, there is.
Because one is above the other. So later on, what happened is the one that is beneath will fight back. And when you fight back, what do you do?
Yeah, because you look at the world today, you look at the world feminism. You can see feminism is basically because what the West did is basically completely subjugate women.
Yes.
That that women had no right. How could your mother that gave birth to you have no right?
Carry you for 9 months.
This is basically my thinking. When I think about it, it actually pisses me off. And to be a lomo have no right. And you telling me that the woman have gave birth to you and carried you for 9 months is a lesser
than you.
Think. Guys, this is why we do what we do. Because so many things that we've been taught just does not make logical sense. You have all these so-called faith But faith it basically takes you away from reality,
from critical thinking.
From critical thinking.
Yes.
But you need to know. Knowing is better than having faith. Because when you know, and your spirit will tell you.
Knowing, you know.
You know.
Mm-hmm. You know. I think that's where the liberation comes. When you know something.
When you know, that's freedom.
That's freedom.
Yeah. And that's what we call awakening. It's called spiritual awakening.
Yeah. You come into your true self.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the awakening. Yeah.
So, guys, we need to get things right. This patriarchal, these men, because look at the world today. The world is completely messed up because men are destroying.
Yeah.
Men, the ones going to war.
You create the war. Men create.
Men go to war. They will do all these things. Then they mistreat women. They don't want to listen. And don't forget, guys, I'm a man there. I'm being honest. A woman who's your wife, who's your mother, has the most influence over you, even though you don't want to admit it publicly.
Yes.
Because a woman will bring you down, just like that.
If they want to, I'm telling you, that
easily.
If a woman wants to.
That's how potent your mothers are. And when a mother says something to you, it manifests.
Yeah.
That's how powerful they are.
You don't want a woman to curse you. Yeah.
You don't let a woman curse. Don't let your mother curse you. So don't tell me that you, as a man, are above your mother. I'm passionate about this. Probably I'm more vocal than Kehinde, because this is basically, I hear people talk this all the time, and it gets up my nose when men have been so stupid and condescending of the mothers of the women.
Yes. And again, like you said, this lack of critical thinking, because, like you said, when you've been given lies for so long, when you've been told the lies for so long, it becomes the truth. And you don't want to question that. So many of us don't want to question that. But because we came out of the religion setting that we are, the space, that allows us to start thinking. So you think deeper. You then see things for what it is. Yeah, it's as if you have clarity. It's as if whatever veil, whatever has been in front of you, is been removed. So you can see clearly.
Yeah.
So I think that actually helps us. That's why we're saying that the spiritual awakening is actually very important.
It is
you need
important.
to come to your true self. When you come into your true self, things will be more clearer.
Yeah.
Nobody would then BS
Nobody will bamboozle you, man. Nobody will tell you some BS.
You know.
When you know. When things are not right, you will know. Within your spirit, you would know that things are not right.
In a higher self will tell you that this is not right.
But guys, wait. As long as you keep thinking that the Bible or this patriarchal stuff is the go-to, and then some people can't even have a conversation with you without going into the Bible.
Yes.
That was
that was written.
How many years ago?
And
don't forget, human existed way before. We had our ways, and all these things. And we keep saying all these books, all these religions, basically put in place to get us to where we are today.
Yeah.
So you don't think so. You have to go through a particular book for you to think. Well, book has to think for you.
Yeah, it's as if you don't even have a mind of your own anymore. To think, to know what is right from wrong, you have to go. Someone was telling me, "Oh, I need to check the book to know what I'm doing right." So what I'm saying, okay. So you're telling me you don't know what is right from wrong?
When God is
your inner self is not telling you, "Oh, this is right, this is wrong." So you want to go into a book and start saying, "Oh yeah, I need to check. Yes, this book will tell me if I'm doing right. This book will tell me if I'm doing wrong." Which to me it's actually sad.
It's sad, you guys.
You can't think for yourself.
A kid who's never written a book, probably 4 or 5
years
ago.
They
know what's right from wrong. They haven't been to the Bible or Quran yet.
No,
they know.
Exactly.
So, guys, that was inbuilt in them naturally, through nature.
Yeah.
So you don't need a book to tell you what. If you're doing something wrong within yourself, you know what's right from wrong. You don't need a Bible to tell you or Quran to tell you if you're doing right or wrong.
No.
God has built what you need
in
you for you to function in this world.
That you need.
Just only if you listen and pay attention to what your spirit's telling you.
And your willingness will help you as well.
If you're willing to listen,
you will hear.
But if you're not doing that, you're gonna continue missing it, and you're gonna continue getting lost. And the manifestation, the original proper spiritual awakening will never happen. Anyway, guys, we're just gonna round up there. Kenny, last words from you.
I mean, last word, like I said, is as a spiritual awakening person, you have this critical thinking. So please, what we are saying is we've been through all
Yes,
that every
yes,
one of
yes.
you have been through, but then we actually come out through the other side and we can see clearly.
Yeah.
Because when you come out through the other side, you see more clearly. There's no doubt about it. You're not being conditioned then to think otherwise. So this is what we're advocating, that people should please, please, please. This spiritual awakening is actually, it's good, not only good for you, it's good for the whole world entirely. It will actually liberate everyone, which is what we want.
When you become yourself,
pray for, you know.
When you become yourself, you become who you're meant to be, and that's your proper. You manifest your true identity,
true self,
and true self.
Yes.
Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Odigbakono.
And you